What if I told you that millions of people have quietly stopped eating breakfast, stopped eating lunch, and condensed their entire day's nutrition into a single meal, and their doctors can't agree on whether it's genius or dangerous? This is OMAD, one meal a day. And in the next 11 minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly what happens inside your body, hour by hour, when you stop eating for 23 hours straight. Some of what you're about to hear will surprise you, some of it will scare you, and all of it is backed by science. What happens to your body when you eat once a day? The first few hours, your body burns through its reserves. Let's say you finish your one meal at 7 p.m. The clock starts now. For the first 4 to 6 hours, your body is doing exactly what it always does after eating. It's digesting. Insulin spikes. Glucose floods your bloodstream. Your cells are absorbing nutrients, and your liver is packing away glycogen. That's just stored sugar. For later use. Nothing unusual, nothing dramatic. You're full, you're comfortable, you feel fine. But here's where things get interesting. Around hour 8 to 12, your body has burned through the easy glucose. The glycogen stores in your liver are running low, and your metabolism, which has been running on premium fuel, starts to look around for alternatives. This is the point where most people who eat 3 meals a day would be reaching for a snack. A handful of chips, a granola bar. They never let this process go further. But OMAD practitioners, they let the engine keep running. And that's when the real transformation begins. Entering the fat burning zone. Between hours 12 and 18, something switches inside you. Your body, deprived of incoming glucose, activates a metabolic state called lipolysis, the breakdown of fat. Your fat cells start releasing stored fatty acids into the bloodstream. Your liver converts those fatty acids into molecules called ketone bodies. And here's what's wild. Your brain, which normally runs almost exclusively on glucose, starts to run on ketones. And many people report that this is when mental clarity actually improves. Researchers at the National Institute on Aging have found that fasting-induced ketone production may have neuroprotective effects, potentially reducing inflammation in the brain. Now, is OMAD the same as full ketosis like a keto diet? Not always. It depends on what you eat in that one meal, but the metabolic overlap is real, and the fat burning is measurable. A 2022 study published in the New England Journal of Medicine found that time-restricted eating, including extreme forms like OMAD, led to significant reductions in body fat percentage, particularly visceral fat, the dangerous kind that wraps around your organs. That's not just aesthetic, that's cardiovascular risk going down. Autophagy. Your body starts cleaning itself. Now we get to the part that scientists are genuinely excited about. The part that won a Nobel Prize in 2016. Around hour 16 to 18 of fasting. And on OMAD, you hit this window every single day. Your body activates a process called autophagy. Autophagy. From the Greek, auto, self, phagein, to eat. Your body literally begins eating itself. Before you panic, this is a good thing. Autophagy is your body's cellular recycling system. Damaged proteins, dysfunctional organelles, cellular debris that accumulates over time and has been linked to aging, neurodegenerative diseases, and cancer. Yoshinori Ohsumi won the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine specifically for his work uncovering how autophagy works. And the research since then has been explosive. Studies have linked robust autophagy to reduced risk of Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, certain cancers, and accelerated cellular aging. Does OMAD give you enough fasting time to meaningfully trigger autophagy every day? The data is still emerging, but the signal is pointing toward yes, especially when combined with low carbohydrate eating. Every single day, if you eat once a day, you are potentially giving your body a daily deep clean at the cellular level. That is not a small thing. The downsides. Your body feels now. And I want to be very clear here. OMAD is not all upside. Your body sends some serious distress signals, and you need to know about them. Number 1. Muscle loss. When you're in a prolonged fast, your body doesn't just burn fat. It also breaks down muscle tissue for amino acids. This is called gluconeogenesis, your liver converting protein into glucose. If you're not eating enough protein in that one meal, and most people don't, you will lose muscle mass over time. Studies show that OMAD practitioners who don't prioritize protein can lose lean body mass even while losing fat. Number 2. Hormone disruption, especially in women. This is where the science gets uncomfortable. Multiple studies, including research published in the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, have found that extreme caloric restriction timing can disrupt cortisol rhythms, thyroid function, and reproductive hormones, particularly in women. Some women report menstrual irregularities within weeks of starting OMAD. This is your body interpreting prolonged fasting as a threat, a famine signal, and downregulating non-essential biological functions. Number 3. Nutrient deficiencies. One meal. That's your window to hit your complete micronutrient needs. Most people don't. Deficiencies in magnesium, vitamin D, B vitamins, and omega-3s are common in long-term OMAD practitioners who don't supplement carefully. The point isn't that OMAD is bad. The point is that OMAD done carelessly is very different from OMAD done strategically. What OMAD does to your gut. Here's something almost nobody talks about when they discuss OMAD, and it might actually be one of the most important things happening in your body during that 23-hour window. Your gut. Inside your digestive tract right now, there are approximately 38 trillion microorganisms. Bacteria, fungi, archaea, a living ecosystem that influences everything from your immune function to your mood to your metabolic rate. Scientists call it the gut microbiome, and the research coming out of this field in the last decade has been nothing short of revolutionary. Here's what most people don't realize. What you feed, you grow. When you eat constantly, 3 meals, 2 snacks, a handful here, a coffee with sugar there, you are feeding your gut microbiome on a continuous loop. And the bacteria that thrive on constant sugar and refined carbohydrates are largely the ones associated with inflammation, bloating, and metabolic dysfunction. They don't just survive, they dominate. But when you fast for 23 hours, something remarkable happens. The sugar-dependent bacteria begin to starve. Their populations drop. And in the space they leave behind, a different community takes hold. Bacteria that feed on fiber, that produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, that actively reduce gut inflammation and strengthen the intestinal lining. Research published in the journal Cell found that time-restricted eating, even without caloric restriction, significantly altered the composition of the gut microbiome in as little as 4 weeks. Participants showed increased microbial diversity, which is one of the strongest markers of gut health we have. There is also something called migrating motor complex, or MMC, a pattern of muscular contractions that sweeps through your small intestine like a cleaning wave, clearing out undigested food debris, dead cells, and bacteria that don't belong there. Here's the critical detail. The MMC only activates during fasting. It requires at least 90 minutes without food to initiate one full sweep, and several hours for a complete cleaning cycle. If you eat constantly, the MMC never gets to run. Bacteria accumulate in the small intestine where they shouldn't be, a condition called SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, which is now considered a driver of bloating, brain fog, and irritable bowel syndrome in millions of people. OMAD, done daily, runs that cleaning cycle every single day. You are not just changing your metabolism, you are changing the ecology of your gut. Who actually benefits and how to do it right. So who is OMAD actually for? Based on the research, the people who see the greatest benefit with the least risk tend to share a few characteristics. They are generally metabolically healthy adults, not people managing diabetes, eating disorders, or thyroid conditions. They are people who prioritize protein. aiming for at least 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight in that single meal. They don't do it every single day. Many top researchers and clinicians recommend cycling OMAD with days of normal eating to prevent hormonal adaptation, and they combine it with resistance training, which signals the body to preserve muscle, even in a caloric deficit. A single OMAD meal done right looks something like this: a large protein source, high-volume vegetables, complex carbohydrates, healthy fats, and electrolytes, particularly sodium, potassium, and magnesium, which are depleted rapidly during extended fasting. The researchers who are most optimistic about OMAD aren't the ones treating it as a permanent lifestyle. They're the ones treating it as a tool, something you cycle in and out of based on your goals, your biology, and how your body responds. The adaptation protocol: how to actually start now. I want to spend a minute on something that most OMAD videos completely skip. And it's the reason most people fail within the first week. The adaptation phase. If you have spent years eating 3 meals a day, your metabolic enzymes, the biological tools your liver uses to produce ketones and mobilize fat, are underdeveloped. They exist, but they are weak, like a muscle you've never trained. Jumping straight from 6 eating occasions a day to a single meal is like walking onto a basketball court and trying to dunk on day 1. The potential is there, the infrastructure is not. Here is a practical 4-week ramp that the research supports. Week 1. Push your first meal 2 hours later than normal. If you usually eat at 7 a.m., eat at 9 a.m. That's it, just compress the start. Week 2. Skip breakfast entirely. Eat your first meal at noon. You are now doing a 16 to 8 intermittent fast, the most studied fasting protocol in the literature. Week 3. Push lunch to 2 or 3 p.m. Your eating window is now 4 to 6 hours. Your body is learning. The fat-burning enzymes are building. Week 4. Consolidate to a single meal in the early evening. You have arrived at OMAD, and your metabolism is now equipped to handle it. During this entire ramp, electrolytes are non-negotiable. When insulin drops, your kidneys flush sodium. Sodium pulls water. Water carries potassium and magnesium with it. This electrolyte dump is responsible for almost every negative symptom people attribute to fasting: the headaches, the brain fog, the muscle cramps, the fatigue. A pinch of quality sea salt in your water. A magnesium glycinate supplement before bed. These 2 things will smooth the transition more than anything else you can do. And one final reminder: fasting is a physiological stressor, a productive one, but a stressor. If you are already dealing with chronic stress, poor sleep, or a demanding job with no recovery, adding a 23-hour fast on top of that stack will likely backfire. Cortisol will rise, sleep will suffer, progress will stall. Fix your sleep before you fix your meal timing, every time. The verdict. So here's where we land. When you eat once a day, your body does something remarkable. It burns through its glucose reserves. It shifts into fat burning. It produces ketones that fuel your brain differently. It triggers autophagy, that Nobel Prize winning cellular cleanup process. It resets the ecology of your gut and lets the migrating motor complex run its full cleaning cycle. And it forces an efficiency on your metabolism that 3-meal-a-day eating simply doesn't produce. But it also stresses your hormonal system. It risks your muscle mass if you're not strategic. It creates a nutritional tightrope that most people stumble on without realizing it. The human body is extraordinarily adaptive. The same mechanism that makes OMAD work, hormetic stress, the mild biological pressure that triggers repair and efficiency, is the same mechanism that will eventually push back if you push too hard, too long without recovery. The smartest approach? Use the science. Don't pick a diet. Build a strategy. If this video made you think differently about how your body processes food, hit that like button. It actually helps this channel reach people who need this information. And if you want to go deeper on the science of fasting, metabolic health, or the truth about what your diet is doing to your biology, subscribe. Because that's exactly what we do here. Body Science. I'll see you in the next one.